I have three web pages regarding chemicals that are found in e-liquid. And I was reading this, I'm thinking, boy, oh boy, oh boy. All these e-liquid manufacturers that are about to do their PMTAs to submit them to the Food and Drug Administration for approval are going to be in for a surprise. It's going to be interesting. These e-liquid companies that do their testing on their particular products, especially the toxicology studies or slash tests. When they're submitted to the FDA will also test those particular e-liquids. And if these particular labs that these e-liquid manufacturers go to, and that is if the Food and Drug Administration shows that these tests that were done on these e-liquids were faulty in any way, they're going to be rejected. There's a lot of stuff going on here which is not looking good for e-liquid manufacturers. I know you guys are going to disagree. I know TG is going to give me a hard time, but I'm just telling you right now, we're in for a very, very bumpy road. Very bumpy road. Anyway, so this comes out of Medical Daily, July 31st, 2019. Says Juul e-cigarettes contain these unexpected chemicals. There's a little bigger for you. Got a lot of crap on the screen here. Says the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has marked e-cigarettes unsafe for kids, teens, and people in mid-20s due to its impact on their brains. The nicotine and other substances used in the device have been linked to addiction and problems with attention, learning, and mood. E-cigarettes have also been found containing unknown ingredients that can be harmful. Researchers from Yale University found that products from the company Juul have chemicals that could irritate the airways of users. The additional chemicals were found in the liquid vanillin that provides a vanilla flavor. The chemicals called acetols appeared from the flavored liquid after it interacted with alcohols used in vapes to add nicotine and flavors. A study published in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine analyzed Juul e-cigarettes using a vaping machine built at Yale. Says we were able to detect these acetols both in creme brulee e-liquid as well as in the generated from it. He added their study provides the first information on the presence of acetols in e-cigarette aerosol. During tests, the chemicals were produced by Juul products when exposed to glycerol. Acetols were also present in tested flavors that contain menthol. Acetols have been banned in traditional cigarettes. However, manufacturers are allowed to mix the chemicals in e-cigarettes. People often assume that these e-liquids are a final product once they are mixed, but the reactions create new molecules in the e-liquids. And it doesn't just happen in e-liquids from small vape shops, but also in those from the biggest manufacturers in the U.S. The researchers hope their study would guide the government in creating a new e-cigarette regulations to address the presence of unknown and potentially toxic compounds. They added the health effects of e-cigarette liquids should also get more attention from regulators. And then there's another study at the University of California, July 18, 2019, study finds electronic cigarettes damage brain stem cells. A research team at the University of California, Riverside has found that electronic cigarettes, often targeted to youth and pregnant women, produce a stress response in neural stem cells, which are critical cells in the brain. And these are the individuals that did the testing. these high-powered microscopes, which these e-liquids will be going out under. When they do their PMTAs, they will be going under these high-powered microscopes, as you see. Present throughout life, stem cells become specialized cells with more specific functions, such as brain cells, blood cells, or bone. Far more sensitive to stress than the specialized cells they become, stem cells provide a model to study exposure to toxicants such as cigarette smoke. E-cigarettes are nicotine delivery devices that aerolize nicotine and flavor chemicals through heating. Researchers do not yet understand how the chemicals in e-cigarettes might affect neural stem cells, particularly their, and you see it, that serve as cells powerhouses and are critical in regulating cell health. Using cultured mouse neural stem cells, identify the mechanism underlying EC-induced stem cell toxicity as stress-induced, and you see it. It's a protective survival response. Our data show that exposure of stem cells to e-liquids, aerosols, or nicotine produces a response that leads to this here, whatever. No, that's what it leads to. The study performed on Views, a leading EC brand, appears in iScience, an open access journal from Cell Press. Although originally introduced as safer, ECs such as Views and Juul are not harmless. Even short-term exposure can stress cells in a manner that may lead with chronic use to cell death or disease. Our observations are likely to pertain to any product containing nicotine. So as you can see, I mean, maybe nicotine doesn't cause cancer, but it is a contributing factor to cancer. And nicotine is not harmless. A lot of you guys make it appear like nicotine is harmless, and this is not. The high levels of nicotine in ECs lead to a nicotine flooding of special receptors in the neural stem cell membrane. Nicotine binds to these receptors, causing them to open up. Calcium and other ions begin to enter the cell. Eventually, a calcium overload follows. Explain that too much calcium is harmful. I cannot pronounce that. Mitochondria, whatever. Then swell, changing their and whatever function. They can even rupture and leak molecules that lead to cell death. If the nicotine stress persists, collapses, the neural stem cells get damaged and could eventually die. If that happens, no more specialized cells can be produced from stem cells. And you can read the rest. We're talking in terms of youth and pregnant women. Their brains are in a critical developmental stage. Nicotine exposure during prenatal or adolescent development can affect the brain in multiple ways that impair memory, learning, and cognition. Furthermore, addiction and dependence on nicotine in youth are pressing issues or concerns. It's worth stressing that it is nicotine that is doing damage to neural stem cells, and we should be concerned about this, given that nicotine is now widely available in e-cigarettes and their refill fluids. And so the research was supported by grants from the Center for Tobacco Products of the Food and Drug Administration. So therefore, the Food and Drug Administration is going to be very interested in that study. And then this is out of WEAU News 13. New e-cigarette study shows harmful side effects. This is July 31st, 2019. Bigger for you. There is a lot still unknown about the harmfulness of e-cigarettes. A recent study published links new chemicals found in the vaping liquid to severe health risks. Vaping does cause irritation of the upper airways, such as the throat. It also affects the lower respiratory tract. Doctors are adamant that it is the liquid that causes the health problems, but workers at whatever vape shop say it is the device and the miseducation. Well, we'll soon find out that when they do their PMTAs. This is the reason why PMTAs are so crucial. All of our juices are FDA approved. Nope, no, they are not. This is a lie. But all of them are device specific, so you need to know what you're dealing with. This is a lie. This is a lie. This is a huge lie. Nothing's approved by the FDA. Bull crap. With the heating, they do form other type of chemicals such as acetol. It is one of the chemicals they have isolated which are harmful. So no, it's not just the device. So, and there's many other studies out there that are going on here with Juul and other e-liquids. And all of this is going to show up in the PMTAs, especially when the FDA does their own study of whatever e-liquid product is submitted to the FDA. There might be something that gets approved, but I tell you, it's going to be a bumpy road to the finish line. Extremely bumpy road. Just because you submit your PMTAs to the FDA does not mean it's going to be approved. It's a very bumpy road we have, but this is the only way that we can possibly leave a few e-liquids on the market. All of these products, even from big tobacco like Vuse and all of these particular products, will need PMTAs on them submitted to the FDA because they have a manufacturer finished product date after February 15th of 2007, all the way up to August 8, 2016. Now I want to share this disheartening news with you, but we must face this harsh reality. It's a harsh reality. But we must face it head on and understand what we're up against in order to know what our future holds. Anyway, just want to share that with you. Bye-bye.